So I haven't been able to make any videos in about a month. I've been busy. Um, so I work for the company who basically owns .com, .net, .web, and points all the internet traffic with those. So when all these other companies went work from home, I still got to go in on this limited shift. So I've been going back and forth to work. I'm just exhausted. So I've been ordering parts and stuff like that, but I just haven't had the time to actually come out here too much. I got a little bit of stuff done on it. So some of the big things that are going on right now are I ordered the four-wheel drive adapter plate. I ordered a bunch of AN fittings, hoses, catch cans, two of them. I always run two of the RBs. I was thinking about what to do with the fuel tank in this. It's an aftermarket fuel tank. I'll show it in a minute here, but it's an aftermarket tank because they relocated it underneath on this side from the back because in Australia this ran on both straight gas and gasoline. So it has an aftermarket gas tank in it. It has a little spot on the back of the gas tank which goes underneath one of the rear trailing arms, and if I would lift it up and get real crazy with flexing, it'll probably hit the tank. So we're going to cut that part off. One of the things I was going to do was get a newer sending unit that had a pump hanger and everything in it. Real expensive. I didn't know if it would fit the tank. I didn't know if the height would be right on the level. So I decided to order one of these, which is just a weld-on sump. So basically what I'm going to do is just an external fuel pump. So stupid. I don't know why they bent it like that. So I'm going to have to cut that and make it flat and do a little patching on it. But this is going to get welded to the bottom of this aftermarket tank. One of these is going to be plugged up. The other one's going to be -8. It's going to 90. Basically, it's going to do everything it needs to do to get fuel. I'm going to run just an external pump now instead of an internal, and not mess around with the stock level sensor because it's a carburetor with a mechanical fuel pump. They might just put some foam in the tank and call it. Good enough for here. So looking at some radiator hoses now, trying to get those all sorted out. Just waiting on some more parts to come in, and I'm back on this thing. The Bentley is drivable-ish. I drive it in and out, but it has a brake leak right now, and I am not messing with that system. I put the motor up for sale on eBay the other day. Hopefully I get a bite on that. That way I can pull that motor and just get that thing ready. I'm going to take you on a walk around on the Cummins motor, show you where I'm at on that. Waiting on a couple little parts to come in. I got to send the injection pump out and get a couple fuel lines, and she's done. That motor is ready to start to be fitted in. What's going to happen is the Turbo 4, I think it's not a Turbo 400. I think they call it a Turbo 480 or it's not a 4L80. It's got one extra. It's the heavy duty version of a Turbo 400. TH370 or 475, not 375, 475. They're kind of rare. That's what that trans is. That came with the bread truck. It has the right bell housing for the adapter plate, but it has the wrong tail shaft. So we're going to steal the tail shaft and the tail shaft assembly out of the Turbo 400 in the Bentley, drop it off at a trans shop, and basically have them just make one good transmission out of the two. That way it's plug and play right back in the car. That way everything transfers over from the speedo unit, the shift linkage. I'm going to try to use all those parts and just get them on this transmission, and we'll be good to go. So I'll take you around, and I got some videos that I'm editing together. I apologize. While most people were at home working on the coronavirus shit, I'm on a skeleton crew. I'm there until I get sick, and then what they'll do is the whole building goes home, decontaminate it, and another shift of people comes in. I've been on shift for 4 weeks now. Hopefully no one gets sick on this shift. I don't want to deal with this shit. That's the game plan. We're there for the long haul. So what my day job is basically I'm the guy in charge of keeping the internet up and running on a infrastructure standpoint. Power, cooling, electrical projects, budget stuff. I do have a manager that oversees all the data centers, but basically I'm the lead at the primary data center. Not a computer guy, I'm a mechanical, electrical guy. So that's what I do as a day job. It's just been tolling mentally because there's a lot of work for one person to do right now, and I just come home, I don't feel like dealing with this shit right now. I'm just mentally exhausted, just dealing with the am I gonna live or am I gonna die stuff. So you know what, fuck it. As long as I'm still here, I might as well continue working on this shit. So yeah, a lot of updates coming. So I'll get with you. Alright, so here we are at the back of the truck. Now this has the removable sway bar option where you can disconnect them from the cab of the vehicle. The fitting's a little low. So it looks like it says IRA. So this tank, I don't know if I can use that sump adapter now that I'm looking at this. But there was something that was okay, it was up here maybe. Yeah, see above the tank, see that trailing arm? It connects to the frame point that's mounted above the tank. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see it right in there, and it connects to this point here. So that goes above the tank, and it's only a couple inches away. So if I raise this up a couple inches, it's going to get super close to the tank. Now I start doing some flexy shit, it's making contact with the tank. So my game plan is cut this tank right from here all the way over to here and just lop that part off. I'll get a new weld-on bung. Now I wanted to put a sump on the bottom of it, but I'm thinking it's going to be hanging down a little too low. I was going to do that at the back and lower the fuel line down. I have some options with this, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just do fittings on the back of the tank there. That or because this is really thick steel, what I can do is I can still use that sump as long as I encase it. So maybe build in a crush plate right over it, but I don't like that idea. So let me get the tank out and I'll figure it out. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull the tank. I was gonna abandon the factory fuel lines because it's all carbureted shit. So basically it was just mechanical vacuum pump to pull that stuff up. So just waiting on my adapter plate for the transfer case. I can get the cross member in, get the transfer case in, all that good stuff, and go from there. Yeah, this sucks. I was hoping to be able to use this, but you know, the other thing is I have all this room right back here, and it's a ton of room. That's where the factory sending unit used to be, right there. So it's not impossible to mount another tank back here. It actually tucks up higher over here. Finding a factory tank would probably be a friggin' nightmare trying to ship that thing over. But this is a big square over here. I feel like I can just put a cell under here, but I like the idea of using the factory location to fill the tank. So which is here, moving over to over into that. So I had to replace these lines a couple years ago when I first got it, so they're all new. Yeah, it's an obstacle. We'll figure this part out. It's not the hardest thing in the world. It's just a little bit of pain in the butt, but we'll get it going. Yeah, so we're just waiting on some more parts, but I'm gonna start working on it hard this weekend and get some videos up. I'll upload my video on Sunday. It is Friday night right now. It means my torque converter came back. My torque converter could fit. They had to make a brand new torque converter. So Brett Dempsey at Brent Dempsey Engineering and JW, they warranted that one out even though it was more than a year, and they built me a different one. Awesome of them to do that. I was a little worried about that. I thought I'd end up spending money. One thing I did notice here, this is an adapter to go from the Chinese 90 mil to a stock RB. I'm gonna have to trim this tray, and I'm gonna trim it in probably twice of what it needs. That way if the motor were to rock back and forth. But doing that there, we're gonna come out of this. I'm gonna actually do a water the air intercooler. It's going to, I'm gonna tuck it down a little bit, get a little bit lower, mount it on the one side here, and then right off the discharge. So no big front mount, just a water to air intercooler. And gotta get my transfer case adapter on this thing. Instead of buying this, I probably should have bought that, but they are more, there's less of those in the world, believe me. I think there's only 600 of those bikes. About 400 of them were cruisers, 200 were 20-inch, and honestly, this shit's from 1992 through 1999. There's not many of them left. Maybe 150 of them. There's probably a few of them sitting in someone's shed somewhere that they don't even know what they have, but if you guys ever see something that looks like that, hit me up. Chances are I want it. I definitely would want it as a 24-inch. I probably wanted it as a 20. All right, so let's get into this. So I'm using the VHT flame-proof paint on the turbine housing, the turbo manifold, and the other small turbo parts. And then got some other paint over here I just picked up. So this is the engine paint here for the engine block. I just wanted to get out of the can. So it's just stupid color engine cast iron. And just gloss black for all the small parts over there. So let me get this stuff painted, and you know, we'll start dressing this motor up a little bit today. So in the midst of all this coronavirus stuff, I'm gonna be out here working on shit anyhow. It is Sunday, the 15th of March, and I don't know, I feel like things are going to just get weird soon, so we'll figure some things out, but I have no control over the world and how people act, so I'm just going to come out here and do my thing, you know? So, got my side cover on, but I got to go to the Cummins dealer to try to get those gaskets, but for now, it looks alright. I'm going to change all that hardware anyhow. I just want some better hardware on this engine. So I got my turbo ready to get put back together. I got all my bracketry here. So the game plan now is going to be starting to dress this motor. I have to send out the injection pumps still. Did some touch up a little bit earlier. That's why I have a bunch of tape on there. But I'll do one more coat in one area there. But it doesn't really matter because it all gets covered. But I don't know. My OCD didn't like what I saw. There's a bunch of my cleaned up hardware. So I'm gonna get set up, and we'll start getting things together on this. I might start with getting the injectors in and getting the manifold on, and then getting the turbo all set up. I got a lot of cleaning up to do on these flanges out, and I got new hardware, so we'll see. All right, I'll be at it.
temperature sensor is made out of brass. It completely disintegrated itself, so I smacked a bolt into it. Kind of made like an oval pattern. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to weld this nut on it. So I don't have a nut that's gonna fit it, and the threads got fucked up. And then I'm gonna put a bigger nut on it and try to use a torque wrench to get this thing out.